easiest schedule. And oh, by the way, Jalen Hurts is good.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy.
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the locker room with Billy Schwein and Pete Thompson right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. It's a Sunday morning, and the Phillies have won 9 in a row. Can we keep it going, PT?
Let's keep it going, Billy, as long as they play, as long as the rain holds off.
All right, PT, we got a very special show today. We are honored and privileged to have sit with us in the locker room the Stanley Cup winning head coach of the St. Louis Blues, former Flyer, Craig Berube. What's up, Chief?
Guys, thanks for having me on. How you doing?
I never thought we'd get you in here, Chief.
You probably won't again.
Say goodbye to Hollywood. This is it.
I happen to be in the area.
Yeah, so Chief, it's good to see you, man, and you're one of the good guys in Flyers history. Love having you around. And how you been, man?
Good. Yeah, back in the Philly area after losing out of the playoffs. So just around with family, spending time. How
much time do you get, Chief, before you got to get back at it?
We'll start up again in September, but in the meantime, you're just kind of
play a lot of golf.
Well, I will play golf, and then I'll just get ready for the season. Coaches meetings, and we have a development camp this summer that I'll go to in St. Louis and look at the young guys that we got coming in, the draft. There's a few things.
Unlike a college coach, a professional coach, the college coaches, they're like, that's a year-round job because you're recruiting and doing things. Yeah. As far as a professional hockey coach, like you're looking at scouting tape. Your scouts are talking to you on a daily basis. Like, we like this guy, we like that guy.
No,
not really.
Coaches aren't involved in a draft.
Really?
No. That's all amateur scouting and the management of the organization. So we really, we don't have a lot to do with the draft.
Not just the draft, but how about tipping you off? Like they say, like you're the cook. You got to mix up the ingredients. You got to tell them what you want, man. You told me.
You went Belichick on him. You went Bill Parcells on him.
Right? I mean, you told me a couple weeks ago. I said, what do you think you need?
Yeah.
You lost to Colorado. And I said, what do you think you need? You told right.
Yeah, and all they are is in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's not like the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Guess what? That was a competitive series. And
it
you
was.
Guys went down to the wire. So when I asked you, you spat out, we need some D help.
Well,
so you don't think they'd ask you?
Yeah, but you're not going to. That's the draft. The players you're drafting in this year's draft or last year's draft, they're not going to play for you right now. It's very rare.
Right.
Man, like you're picking in the top. Picking in the first 4 picks, that person's probably going to play for you. But we're to help your team where we're at right now. You need a free agent signing, trade. Like the draft is down the road. These players, they're 4 years away.
It's developing.
Developing, getting them ready to play in the NHL.
All right, Chief, I got to ask you this on the show because knowing you personally, we're friends. I was probably more mad that you got fired from Philadelphia than you were. You took it in stride. I took it personally. I mean, I was down there. I remember. I'll never forget, Pete, the very first day that I don't think you knew that I was in radio and TV. You just knew me as Schweiner, right? And the very first day I showed up at the press conference, he was up at the podium. He's looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Of all the people I got to see, this stooge is in my front row.
I normally saw you at the airport.
That's great. That is great.
No, but I mean, I think I took it more personally than you did. You were like, it's part of the business. Like you should, but you didn't have any animosity towards to Hexie because he's the one that fired. You guys were teammates.
Yeah, I mean that's his job. He's got to evaluate what the team and the coaches and.
Do you think you learned anything from? Okay, that was your first head coaching job in the NHL. Because of that situation, did you take any of that, what you learned from that first experience into St. Louis?
Well, you always take stuff, and I think the biggest thing that I learned from my first head job in Philly, not in the Phantoms, that's different, but in the NHL, I think my assistant coaches that I have now that I work with in St. Louis, like they have so much bigger role. I give them so much,
So you delegate authority, right?
They run everything. And, there's certain things that I, have control of on a daily basis, but I really trust these guys. They're very good coaches. You cannot be successful in any sport, in my opinion, without great assistant coaches.
Right.
Or, coaches like in baseball, they're, termed
right,
differently.
The bench coach.
Yeah. You gotta have some great people around you, good people, but smart people, and guys that are willing to, tell you the truth and tell you exactly what's needed to be done.
Right. You don't want yes men around you.
No, I don't.
You would rather have a fight, right?
Yeah,
like
I want
an
fight.
argument,
including a guy, Bill. Yeah,
he wants to fight.
Sure,
well,
you don't want
I
somebody.
like to argue, so I like to have a good argument every day in the coach's room or on the bench.
I know you like to argue.
It's got to be a lot of fun. Jim Montgomery, one of your assistant coaches, being mentioned for the Flyers coaching vacancy.
Jimmy's a real smart coach.
Did anybody from the Flyers organization, or as you say, organization, ever reach out and say, "Hey, what type of guy is this guy?" Or
no, not yet.
They do their own internal investigation.
Yeah, they'll talk. I don't. Nobody's.
So, Chief, I know when you won the Stanley Cup, you weren't even thinking about the Flyers, but deep back in the bowels of your
we were thinking about you.
We were thinking about you, but
we were jealous. We were thinking about you.
Did you take that, Hexie?
Huh?
Take that, Hexie?
No.
Did you think of that at all?
No, not at all. Seriously, I know you think I should be.
Yeah, I think you should be a little bitter because you had no players, Chief. You even told me.
Yeah, and so throughout the season, I think I recognized what was going on and where we were at in a situation. So you work through it and you get over it a little bit. Like what's going on,
right?
And
they just needed a scapegoat, right?
Well,
you were
not a scapegoat. I think he got put in a situation to be the general manager. Paul Holmgren stepped down. Homer and I are very close. We've been together a long time to this day. So Hex, I'm Homer's guy.
Do you talk to Hex?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I see him, sure.
Oh yeah.
But I'm Homer's guy. So
right.
I mean, that's how it works. Like
I agree.
If our team made the playoffs and we had some success, then I wouldn't have been fired. But
right.
When you
but you didn't have the horses, Chief.
No, we weren't very good. We're okay.
All right.
Goaltending was goaltending was so below average. It wasn't funny. I had the late Ray Emery. I had that count on a guy with one hip. I love that Ray Emery. It's too bad.
He's right.
Too bad what happened to him, but I love that guy.
Yeah.
By the way, we're streaming. We're on the StreamYard today. You can check us out. Chief's there. We're on the StreamYard, my YouTube channel, The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, my Facebook page, Billy Schweim, of course, the mobile app. And we're going to open up the text board today, Pete, because we want people to interact with the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, former Philadelphia Flyer and Philadelphia Flyer coach.
0973.
609-403-0973. If you have a question for the Chief, Craig Berube, 609-403-0973. And we'll read them all. If you have a question for the Chief, we'll read him here, and you'll get his answer.
Now, mind you, I wanted to ask him some questions, and you were just fired away.
Well, first of all, when did you ever wait for me to stop talking?
Well, I didn't want to be impolite, So I guess the first thing before we go to our first break, Chief, is I'll just say now that we've got both sides complete, and God, Tampa 3 in a row, they're back in the finals again. What's your first initial thought when you hear Avs Lightning final?
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be a hell of a series, to be honest with you. I think it's probably going to go deep, 6-7, games for sure. I'm a little worried about the Avs goaltending compared to Tampa's. I think that's a big concern. And, Tampa's really, they're there right now. They've won before. They're feeling it. They know how to win. I think depending on if Braden Point gets back in this series, that's a huge, huge lift for the Lightning. But on the other side of things, Colorado's a very motivated team. They've been due to get here for a number of years now, and they're here. And they have some great, great players. This Makar is a stud.
Yeah, you say that. I've said it over
outstanding hockey player. Like, I don't know if there's
Billy, wasn't Makar available when the Flyers picked that year?
Right.
Just hindsight is 2020.
But how do you miss on a player that good, Chief? How does an organization, guys that played hockey,
but there's 3 teams that missed on them. I
don't care about the other 3 teams. I only care about our team.
When you're scouting young kids, I don't know where he played tier 2 junior. So that's not even major junior.
Right.
He's getting watched there. That's like, a step below major junior.
The Alberta Midget Hockey League. Okay.
Then he's going and he's playing some college. I don't know where he went to college to play.
Right.
But, that's all taken in consideration a little bit, compared to like Patrick and Heischer, who are playing, major junior,
right,
and they're good players. It's hard. There's a lot of guys that haven't went in the first 3 picks overall, and Mark Messier was a late draft pick. There's a lot of guys that
Well, you can't measure the size of a guy's heart, I guess, right? I mean, you see his play.
But some guys develop a little later, and some guys become, great players down the road at times.
Chief, can you see as a head coach for the Blues now? Just say the Blues. Who's the character of a guy? You can look at his eyes and say who's got toughness, tenacity in him.
Yeah, for sure. Autumn.
But I bet he'd use the word compete over tough.
Compete.
I said tenacious. How about tenacious? Somebody that hates to lose.
There's players though that have to learn how to do it, and they can learn it over time. We have a player on our team. I won't mention his name, but I was impressed in the playoffs a little bit how he. He went into some games.
He'll tell us off the
and
air.
he was a little light and he wasn't involved. But then the next game he was way more involved.
Did you have to say anything to him?
Oh, I say stuff to him all the time. But I mean, he learns. But
right.
Me saying something to him all the time too doesn't help. He knows. And it's just about finding your way and figuring it out and digging in and learning how to battle through things, and sometimes
Pete, that he just said it because he said the players, they're professional athletes. The players know. Same with the Phillies.
Yeah,
these Phillies were underperforming under Joe Girardi. I mean, they were horrible, and they switched the manager. We win.
And not for nothing. Who are the players that are contributing the most as they're starting to win these games?
The younger guys.
Yes, and you know what? They've got a nickname for them now, Chief. I don't know if you heard this yet. The Phillies, the older veterans, are calling them daycare. Bryce Harper's like, "Lo, you better look out for our daycare. They're coming."
All right.
Well,
we got Craig.
You need young guys to be good.
A good mix.
Yeah, you have to have a real good mix. You got to have the young guys. They're a big part of all winning teams. I'm not saying you have to have a number of them, but you got to have some. They bring good energy and they bring life, and but then you got to have a good mix of veteran guys that know how to win.
All right, we got a full 2 hours with the Chief Craig Berube. 609
2 hours.
609-403-0973 is the text board. If you have a question for the Chief Craig Berube, send it in 609-403-0973. I want to remind people the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road, or if you're away in the summer, you live in Florida, let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, and the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, Craig Berube, right after this.
This week on Sunday Night Baseball.
Right field, and you could forget it. Gone. The opposite way to right center for Alonso.
The New York Mets wrap up a 10-game West Coast road trip.
Part of supporting your family, but you also want more. You have a fire in you that drives you further and makes you dream bigger. You may not think you're a superhero, but we know you are. At Atlantic Cape, we specialize in empowering you. We'll help you earn a certification or degree to advance your career or begin a new one. We have flexible classes online. We're super affordable. offering tuition-free college, a free laptop, and much more. Visit Atlantic.edu/register and see where Atlantic Cape can take you next.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and our special guest, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, former Flyers head coach and player Craig Berube. The Chief is sitting with us here. We're having a little fun today on a Sunday morning. The Phillies win streak is at 9. Can they get 10? Ranger Suarez, I believe, is on the mound today. Go for the 10th in a row.
I think their most dangerous opponent today could be Mother Nature. But yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about before they went on this road trip, Billy. I knew that the schedule was going to set up right for the Phillies to start to make some hay. The only problem is the damn Braves keep winning as well. So how are you supposed to make any moves? So we do have a text message, by the way.
Albie's hit a grand slam last night.
Yeah, they rallied. They were down like 4-0, and they came back and won like 10-4 or something ridiculous like that. 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. If you have a question for the Chief, here's 2 questions from Bobby from Ocean City. He says, when he's behind the bench coaching, can't read the first part of that. Second question, it's your brother, by the way. Would he ever consider coming back to the Flyers? That's from Bobby in Ocean City. Well, he's got a contract, Bobby. I'll answer that first part.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in St. Louis. I signed a new deal this year. So, I mean, but I love the Flyers. Right. You guys know that. I love Philly and, the passion that everybody brings here in the sports. It's a great place for sports, and it's a great sports town. You never know, right?
You don't want to burn any bridges, right?
No, I mean, there's nothing to burn.
No, I know, but
Flyers have always been good to me, they always have.
But I'm still.
That was a James Bond movie, Never Say Never Again, and Sean Connery came back, so it could happen.
That business, right? I mean, look at. So, what do you think about Tortorella and Trotz? I mean, like the NHL.
Is this the time? Are we getting into the coaching?
Well, it's not exclusive to the Flyers. Is like an NHL coaching carousel, but I mean, like Tortorella and Trotz are the 2 leading candidates.
The one that blew me away was Bruce Cassidy getting fired in Boston.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bruce did a great job there. He's a real good coach, very good coach. 6 years. Like
sometimes they just want a different voice.
Change venue.
Yeah, you just got to change players. And they've had the same group of guys there for the most part. Changed,
but coaches don't change their coaching strategy or the way they are, their demeanor.
No, but I think it's important to come in and year out and just have some new stuff for them. Maybe just try to do some new things. I try to do that every summer. I try to just. I try to learn a few new things from people and coaches and different things, but you got to come up with just some new ideas and things like that to keep it fresh too. Players know who you are and how you work. That's not going to change. And I don't think you should change, because if you do change, it's not real. It's not genuine. And they'll read right through that stuff. You just got to be yourself, but you always got to come up with some new ideas and plans. So, I always get my assistants to break down the last 4 teams that are in the finals right now and watch what they're doing and break the.
So you guys watch a lot of film. You have your assistants break a lot.
They'll break all this down, and we'll get together this summer and have our meetings, and so we're prepared for camp and what we want to do. Maybe we want to change a few things. So, look at what Tampa's doing here, or look at what Colorado does here, how they play.
So when you hear,
but you also have to go. You can't do everything other teams do. You might have the ability to do it.
Well, they say that a lot of these leagues are copycat leagues, right? Whatever works for a certain team, everybody copycats.
You're not going to bring up the trap, are you? The neutral zone trap. You're not going to go back there, are you? I hated that too. But hockey does. It is copycat sometimes, or there's systems that work. And
I mean, it basically all systems will work. It's you look at Colorado systems compared to Tampa, it's different.
And what are those for the people that don't understand the difference between the 2 systems? How would you put that in layman's terms? Colorado does what? Tampa does what?
I would say, Colorado is a very, very aggressive forechecking hockey team.
Okay.
They're got 5-man forechecks up there. That's their defense are very involved in pinching on every play. And
because they have the ability and talent to get back. They're
so quick and fast, they pressure everywhere. Not that Tampa doesn't either. Tampa plays an aggressive game too, and they do some different things in the neutral zone, with their forechecks and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the difference is. Like Tampa plays a 1-1-3 in the neutral zone. Colorado plays a 1-2-2, but it's aggressive. But it's just it's little things, but
I'm laughing because I want to know if you were able to add all those numbers up.
But that's not gonna.
He can, I can.
That's not gonna determine if you win or lose.
Okay, so what he just said there. This is the quote: "Systems don't determine whether you win or lose.
No,
talent determines whether you win or lose."
Here's the thing, Chief.
It's talent. It's
But Chief, you know what? I told you this. Like our buddy Jeff Harding pointed out that there are tactical coaches and there are coaches that are run off emotion and get the most out of their players because they believe in you and like you. He said he thinks that's more of your style. Your faith. Guess what? I don't know if you know this, but your motivation, your speeches in the locker room, and your the things that you say to your team are all over social media. Let's go, and you're using some expletives, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Like your players know that you are real and that they'll play harder for you. Is that true? Would you say with some players?
I don't know. I mean, again, it's just who you are, like in what you believe when you go in the locker room.
Well, you're consistent.
Yeah, very consistent. There's other coaches that probably don't do that stuff. I mean, that's just who they are, though. Right? I mean, John Cooper. I mean, Coop's a motivating guy. He motivates his team.
Did you play for Mike Keenan?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, did you take any of the things that he like? So you had a lot of coaches through as you matriculated through your hockey career. You had a lot of coaches. Did you take a piece from him, a piece from Keenan, a piece from him, and mold it into what you do?
I don't know if you just
because he was an SOB,
you can
right?
reflect back on
Iron Mike is what you're looking for. Yeah.
Mike was tough. Mike kept you on edge.
Right.
That was Mike's tactic. He wanted to keep you on edge. Not everybody, like he had his guys, the Mark Howes and the late Brad McCrimmon and Brad Marsh and Proppy and these guys. We had a lot of veterans, but he would try to get under the skin of Rick Tocchet or Scott Mellenby, Dave Brown. Like he would try to really, get under these guys and get them going, and because he wanted that energy and that fight from those guys. Mike,
would he work today? Would that work today? Would that type of coaching strategy work today with today's players? Because it's a different NHL.
Yeah, it's a different NHL. I doubt it.
So you don't do any of that, would you say?
Well, you try. I don't think you try.
What buttons to push.
Yeah, you got to know what buttons to push. You got to know your team. You got to know players today you have to communicate with players today. They want communication. They want to know why.
Yeah.
And they want to know why you yelled at them. They want to know why this, why that. So you got to explain it to them. I communicate well, I think, with our team, with our players, and my coaches do. That's a big thing every day on a daily basis. We don't try to sit in a locker room in our coach's room and just look at film all day.
Right.
We got to get out, go talk to the players, be around the players. Like they like you.
Right.
They want to
play
talk.
for you. Yeah.
And it's okay that you're friends with them or you talk to them, but at the same time, you got to kick them in the ass.
I love it.
All right.
What they respect though is that they understand that when you kick them in the ass, then they know it's truthful, it's meaningful, but on the same side of things, you got to be normal with them. You got to know what's going on with them. What's going on in your life? What are you doing tonight for dinner? What's your wife or girlfriend doing? You going out with a couple of buddies? What's going on?
Right.
It's okay.
All right, we got the Chief Craig Berube in the locker room. 609-403-0973 is the text board. If you want to shoot us a message for the Chief, he'll answer your question. 609-403-0973. The first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shore to Center City and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan of the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll go on the mound with Tommy Greene. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up on Monday.
The largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Do you want the best fruits and vegetables? Do you want to support local growers right here in the Garden State? I'm New Jersey Secretary of Agriculture Doug Fisher, encouraging you to get the best local Jersey fresh.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. We're joined by the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, a good friend of the locker room, Craig, the Chief Berube's in the house here. We're having a good time, but now it's time to talk a little Phillies baseball, and what a tear the Phillies are. Hey, Pete, what a difference a few weeks makes, huh?
I mean, you wouldn't think changing the manager would make that big a difference. Traditionally, that doesn't necessarily work.
You might get a little bump from it, but not like what's going on here.
Yeah, they're absolutely on the tear. I mean, and I was at that game last Sunday. Remember, I stayed there with my father when they were down 6-2. That stadium, it was as loud as I think I've heard it since the 08-09 year. I mean,
the upper deck was nuts.
Out. It was nuts when Bryce Harper and that grand slam that he hit to tie the game up at 6 last Sunday. It was a no doubt about it. I jumped up. I mean, I'm supposed to be like, neutral, but I'm a fan. So I'm standing there. I was jump up. I was, to hell with COVID. I'm high-fiving people. I'm hugging people. I almost tripped over my dad. Poor dad. I'm good. How did your dad pass away? Oh, I tripped over him when I was celebrating Bryce Harper's granny.
Every Sunday we go on the mound with Tommy Greene, brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
Without any further ado, let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome in the former Phillies pitcher, the man himself, T. Greene, Tommy Greene. Good morning, Tommy.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Glad to be on again, guys.
All right, T. Greene, we are honored and happy to have the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, your good buddy Craig Berube's in the house.
How about that? Good. Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you, my man.
Yeah, Wednesday, I think, right? I think
I'm pretty sure it's that.
We're gonna tee it up. Looking forward to
it. You better be careful. T. Greene takes his golf very seriously.
He's very good. It'll be a fun day. Looking forward to it.
Hey, Tommy Greene, how about Tommy Greene? I mean, the Phillies are on a complete tear, 9 in a row. In the last 8 starts dating back to April 28th, the Phillies ace Wheeler has allowed 8 earned runs in 50 2/3 innings for a 1.42 ERA. Boy, I'll tell you what, he is definitely the ace of this staff.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you start talking about that like you did. I pretty much don't want to talk about him. I'm going to leave well enough alone, man. Don't jinx nothing. That's the old baseball superstition type thing. Leave well enough alone. But hey, you get good pitching and good defense. You got a chance to win ball games, and on top of that, we're swinging the bat. I mean, you can't ask for any better than what's happening, and well needed and timely happening too. So we needed something like this, a little shot in the arm for the fans, to get back involved in it, and they are. So, which is a good thing.
Tommy Greene with us on the Maserati, the Mainline Hotline. And Tommy, of course, we always ask you about pitching. So let's just go with the most recent start where Zach Wheeler, that's his 7th straight start, a 6 scoreless innings, at least no walks, leads the majors. I mean, this is a guy, he's got an 0.55 ERA and a 0.80 whip in his last 5 home starts. And this was a guy in Miami. I remember we had you on, and I was worried the guy was hurt, because he wasn't throwing his fastball. He was. You remember that start against the Marlins where I thought, hey, something might be wrong with Zach Wheeler, and goodbye season. And now he looks like the Zach Wheeler of old.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, to me, since he's been here, and been in the rotation, I always thought he was one of the key cogs to get us over the hump. You got to have that third guy that really makes things work in terms and keeps it going a little bit. Then if you have the 4 and 5 guy, one of them does pretty consistent work. You got a chance to do some things. Stay in ball games and give your offense a chance to do some things late in the game sometimes when you need it. But I tell you, the other day his start, they battled him real well. you know, on his, I think it was his last start, you know, where he didn't pitch for like 4 innings, but he had like a real high pitch count, which is very unusual for him. You know, he walked a few guys, which he doesn't, you know, that's going to happen sometimes. You're not perfect. You know, Greg Maddox walked me one time. You believe that? You know, so, yeah, I mean, he walked a pitcher, you know, but, you know, for him, you know, he's a very key cog and he's had some success. I pray for his good health, him to stay healthy with his legs, because if he gets off his legs, it's going to affect control and command. And that's what I look for in a pitcher. I watch for the little things when he starts losing his command, what's going on. You know, but he's been very solid. You can't ask for anything better than what our starters have been doing lately.
We have two professionals on with us here. We got a hockey player and we have a baseball player, two professionals that spend a lot of time in each respective league. I'm going to go to you first, Chief. When you're winning, like winning is contagious, right? What is it about the psyche of winning? Like, you know, when you get on a tear like that, everything just goes your way. Are you just lucky, or is it like, what is it?
Well, you're playing well.
You're playing well.
Sure. And then you got to get bounces all the time. You know, you play so many games, and you know, baseball they even play more, right? So,
right.
Hockey too. We play 82 games. You get on a roll, and things go your way. But the players feel real good every day. They're coming in. They
can't wait to get in.
Can't wait to get in and get going. And you know, things are going well. And it's just easy to play. But at the same time, you know, you're playing really well. Like the Phillies are 9 in a row. They're playing really well. I was fortunate enough to go to a game against the Angels where Wheeler pitched that night. I think he won 7-2. And exactly what you guys are saying, he was firing it in there 95, 96 and
hitting his spots.
Great command, really in control. You know, it was pretty fun to watch. I was right behind home plate, so I got to watch him, which was I love baseball and I like going to games, but you know, and everybody wants to see hitting and stuff. When I go to a game, I like to watch the pitchers. I grew up playing a lot of ball, so I like baseball a lot, and it was great watching them pitch.
And of course, Tommy Greene pitched a no-hitter in 1991. T.D. Greene on the opposite of that equation. When you start losing, like when the Phillies, they had a couple losing streaks of 5 and 7 games. I guess guys don't even want to come into the locker room, right?
Well, I mean, when Craig hit it on the head, then we play so many games, you can't get caught up in one little stretch. But a lot of times it's the way the ball bounces. Sometimes you don't get the breaks, but also you got to create your own breaks. You got to play good, sound, fundamental baseball. And when you're doing that, you're giving yourself a chance to win. You're not giving outs away. You're not walking a lot of people. That type of stuff. You're controlling things rather less than the other team controlling things. So that's what I think's been happening overall in this stretch we've got on. You know, it so happens to be, you know, Girardi got let go, you know, but it also comes a time that the guys got to wake up. You know, I blame, obviously being an ex-player, I blame players. You know, they got to do the little things. It's not the coaches and stuff. They usually want to get blamed for it because somebody's got to fall for it because the fans are wanting it and the media's wanting it. And I blame players, you know, but they go about their business. And I know being an ex-player, you're going about your business every day and you're trying to stay on an even keel. You know, you don't want them big waves coming in. You want the rolling little ones to come up so you stay on an even plane, more of an even plane throughout the year. You're playing good, consistent mentally and physically.
Tommy Greene with us on the Maserati the Mainline Hotline. Tommy, we love to ask you about pitching. Mike Gill and I talked on Friday about the closing role and Corey Knebel, and then the news comes out that he's got some tightness in his shoulder. He wasn't even called upon to close the game the other night, but now he's supposed to be reevaluated today. There's a possibility of the injured list. So I guess the easiest way to put this, Tommy, is I'm going to let you decide who do you want to close, Sir Anthony Dominguez or Brad Hand?
Oh, Sir Anthony by far. I always thought he might end up being the one anyway. You know, and they've kind of, you know, obviously he's coming off a big injury over the past, you know, he got in a little bit last year at the end, got his feet wet again, but also coming off the big Tommy John. And obviously I said a while ago, you look for his command. The arm's there. Is he quite throwing 100 like he used to? Not quite, but okay, 97, 98 will work, you know. And now he's got command. He's not walking guys. I mean, he's showing that he can do it. Now it's all about him getting the opportunity to finish games to do that, because he's been in the late, he's been a 7th and 8th inning guy. They've had him in there, and he's had success. Matter of fact, he'll probably be my pitcher of the week this week, even though he didn't get but a couple games in. But the way he's going about it, not walking guys, no stress innings, coming in with runners on and inherited runners and not allowing them to score. That's what it's about, being a reliever. So he would be my guy, no question.
Tommy Greene today, Ranger Suarez on the hill. He's 4-3 with a 4.42 ERA. Why are you laughing, Pete?
Because somebody texted Tommy while we're talking to him. Our buddy Dan from EHT, that's a loyal listener, says, geez, I got this question for Tommy. Is it normal to say that I have nothing to complain about with the Phillies? This is strange territory as a Philadelphia sports fan. Thank you, Dan.
Oh man, it's awesome. And the things I'm excited to, not just on the pitching side, what's happening, but the hitting side, seeing the young guys at the bottom of that lineup over the past, week to 10 days, especially, and Stott, and everybody turning that order over.
You mean the day? Hey, Tommy, you mean the daycare?
Yeah, I heard that the other day. He calling it the daycare, the young guys. That's pretty cool. I like that.
That's what sports teams need, right, Chief? Like some
9-game winning streak, or I've been on streaks or coaching the Blues where we won 10, 11 in a row. You got to have everybody involved, and everybody's got to be contributing.
Like rolling 4 lines.
Oh, yeah.
Take contributions from the 4th line, right?
Yeah, everything. You got to have everything going right. And, again, what Tommy said, limiting your mistakes. Just play good ball and be even-keeled throughout it. It's important. Winning or losing, try to stay even-keeled. And play the system and limit your mistakes.
Hey, Tommy,
give yourself a chance to win.
Tommy, let me ask you this question: when the younger guys are contributing, is it more fun? Like you know what I mean, Chief? Like when the younger guys are contributing, like Chief just said, everybody's contributing. But when the young guys are doing it, it makes it a better atmosphere in the locker room, Tommy.
Well, I mean, just in general, when you got your young guys, they're doing that. You got and your big guys are doing what they need to do. And you got the young guys then start to contribute, you got a chance to do something special. If it goes full circle around the pitching staff too, hey, hold on. We got the hole early. We just hope we keep playing that type of ball we're playing now. We're not going to win every game, but if we play the type of ball we're playing now, we know we're never out of a game. And we can come back and do things, and that's a good thing to know and have. You get that confidence in those young guys, knowing that they belong up here and they can have success up here, and it goes a long way in their day in and day out process of how they go about their business.
All right, Tommy Greene, we got Ranger Suarez on the hill today. You're going to be seeing Craig Berube on the golf course. What, on Wednesday, Chief?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. What do you think, Pete? Who are you going to?
I would bet on Tommy.
I haven't seen Chiefs game, but I have seen Tommy's, and I would also bet on Tommy. No disrespect.
I'll tell you what. You go, Tommy. I'll take the Chief.
Okay.
We might be partners.
You might be. Oh, they might be.
Oh, wow!
Partners.
I'm gonna steal the Vince Young Eagles quarterback line. If you guys are partners, #Dream Team.
All right, Tommy Greene. As always, we really appreciate having you on, and we'll do it again next Sunday.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll see you Wednesday, Craig.
You got it. See ya.
All right, there he is, Tommy Greene. Brought to you by
Aaron Bada's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment. Billy, the Diamondbacks are using Kyle Nelson as an opener. What does that mean? That means that they're coughing up a bullpen guy. This is the quote-unquote bullpen game, right? So if there's ever a game, Suarez has been hit or miss this year.
He pitched well his last 2 outings.
He ought to be pretty good against a bullpen guy on the other side. The flip side of this, in this daycare stuff, did you see the Matt Vierling played second base yesterday?
No, I missed
for the first time in his professional career. I mean, that'd be like, yo, Chief, both goaltenders are hurt. We need you to go in net.
Put in Sudsy
Sudsy, my first year in the league, we had to call Sudsy up from up here down to the minors in Hershey. He's a backup goalie.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Hey, no, seriously.
Really?
He was the backup on the bench.
All right. The first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance, protection, and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shore to Center City and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Of course, Surety is celebrating 30 years as that's why they're in business, because they're
right.
good, right, Pete? All right. The Jersey Man, just about everybody in Philadelphia has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine that's run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey. They attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up hour number one. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein and Pete Thompson right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6.
Next time, go to Springfield Mitsubishi of Atlantic City. Springfield Mitsubishi knows it's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every vehicle, one dime down.
but my credit stinks.
Just ask for credit amnesty. If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
222 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, our special guest, Craig Berube, former player of and head coach of the Flyers, now the current head coach of the St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup winning coach. Chief, what was it like hoisting the cup on the ice?
Oh, man, that had to be great.
On the ice over your head. What was that like?
It's a great feeling for sure. I think so. That's
Was it everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, as a little kid growing up in Canada, I mean, let's face it, that's the holy grail. I mean, that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody plays to you play because you like playing or coaching. That's but in the end, you're trying to win, and when you win,
do you think you have more satisfaction? Let me see if I can word this right. Do you think it would have meant more to you as a player or as a coach, or it didn't matter? Like it's just the fact that your name's engraved on that thing forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends, but I think it's I mean, I think as a player, you're the one out there doing it.
Right.
You win it. That's
right.
Players win, right? That's what they do. That's why you win. It's because you're players, and so you're the reason you win. They're hosting the cup up. I mean, that's
what was the drink of choice in that thing? Champagne, I guess.
In the cup?
Yeah, you guys were drinking out.
Bud Light.
Well, nothing's. Hey, St. Louis. Come on,
Bush,
Billy.
Baby.
Yeah, you
Bud Light.
Bush beer.
Nothing's better than a beer brewed
Bud
right
Light.
across the street.
I love it.
Bud Light.
That's
Bud
great.
Light.
Bud Light there.
Bud Light.
Absolutely.
All right, first.
Take a gallon and another gallon. Keep filling that thing up.
He's a beauty.
It's the best.
All right. First hour in the books. Hour 2 ahead of us. 609-403-0973 is the text board number. If you want to send us a text to the chief, we will read it on the air. 609-403-0973 is the text board. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Craig Berube today. Special guest in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN, and the mobile app.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Ron Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Hi, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, our special guest, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, Craig Berube, the Chiefs in the house. And we're having a good time. It's easy like a Sunday morning, PT.
We're having a good time with Chief. We're on the StreamYard too on your Facebook page, right? It's
the locker room. Billy
the text
Schwein
board is open 609-403-0973, and I got to tell you, Billy, I've never seen you so excited for a 2-hour show than this show, and I see why. Because not just the times in between, but the commercial breaks. Yeah. As soon as I turn the mics off, it's like we want to get to another story. Yeah. Remember that time? Remember that time?
Well, I'm going to start telling some stories because Craig Berube is a colorful character, and during your playing days, you would leave me tickets on the road. I worked for U.S. Airways, and I could fly all over the country for free.
Yeah.
So I took advantage. Like Joe Cadillac was the team. What was he?
Just the traveling secretary, I believe. I'll help you.
So I call Chief or Talk or whoever, and I say, hey, listen, I'll go to Detroit. I'll be in. Leave me 2 tickets at the window. He never spelled my name right.
And that's where Schweiner came from.
And that's how Schweiner came. He used to call me Schweitzer. Schwitzer. I mean, I got every name in the book. Right. And then somehow, and that's how I got my name, Schweiner.
You spelled my name wrong.
I didn't do that. By the way, I want to thank Jim Ziris.
That's good. Thank you.
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to thank Jim Ziris and the good people down there at the Tropicana for giving Craig and his lovely wife Dominique a wonderful room last night.
A suite
at the Tropicana.
Yeah, it was nice. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
But they also got to experience firsthand what the Tropicana is on a Saturday. It's youthful exuberance.
Was it packed down there?
Yeah, it's packed. Yeah.
Billy, when you stayed there in March, there wasn't as many let's take up 2 cases of Bud Light and run down the hallway screaming while you're trying to sleep. I can only imagine that it
was a young crowd last night.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get to a story here. So I'm in Detroit, and I fly out to Detroit. The Flyers.
This is the old Joe Louis.
Joe Louis Arena.
It's not Olympia, right?
And I had somebody messed my name up. It was Schweitzer, and of course on my license it says Schwein.
Oh, so they're not going to give you the tickets.
They won't give me the tickets.
Oh, this is great.
So somehow,
no cell phones. You got nobody to call.
I got in touch with Murray Craven. Muzz was happening to either walk in here or something. I saw him, and the Muzz straightened it out for me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shit, I'm like cursing the Chief under my breath,
Right.
But anyway, so then I go to the hotel. These guys would leave a key for me at the desk, and because they'd be on the way to the game, and I just put my
Remember
bag.
when the hotels had actual keys?
Key, and I leave my bag in your room, and then I just go to the game or do whatever.
All right.
And so I go to the elevator, I hit the button, I'm waiting to. Here it comes down and everything, and all of a sudden the doors open up, and there's Chief. He's got his eyes so black and blue it's almost shut, and his knuckles were oozing white.
Oh my gosh!
Hitting the helmet, he said, and me, I'm like, I was gonna go Chief, and he goes, not a blanket word,
not a bleeping
word. And walked by me like would have hit me with his shoulder, and I was like,
remember that commercial? I got a headache this big. Yeah. What he didn't know was the headache was standing there in the elevator.
Probert twice.
Oh wow, Probert and Coaster.
That's right. You had to face that thing. Like, Chief, your hands were oozing probably from hitting the helmets.
So that game, we played them in not a back-to-back, but a back-to-back.
Right.
A day in between. So we played them at home. I was just new in the league.
I think so.
Right?
I think so.
I think.
You had that mullet?
That was nice. Nice flowing hair.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, so that first game, I fought Probert twice. And Kosher, I believe. This is funny. I fight Proby, right?
Right.
It was a good fight. I'm in the penalty box, and back then there was no glass or nothing.
Right.
So Kosher came by and he threw his gloves into Proby's penalty box where he's sitting. He skates by me, and I know him a little bit from junior hockey. Right? He goes, "Hey, Chief, I'm next. Get your rest." So I had to sit there for 5 minutes
rolling your eyes,
fighting him.
Right.
But anyway, so we go to Detroit, and it's going to be a tough game again, right?
You know it's coming.
So before the game, Keenan comes in and scratches Dave Brown out of the line.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, "Are you out of your mind?" I go right to talk. I'm like, "Is he? What's going on?"
What's he doing?
Like the talk's like, "I don't know." And like, so I got to go out there and fight probably first shift again. Fight him.
Oh, my gosh.
Fight him again. I was like, done.
Now, Chief, you did all right,
and then later on, he had to deal with you.
And then I got to see you on the elevator,
right? Which I'm sure you'd forgotten at that point.
It's like you're yelling and screaming right now. We're 4 feet away.
He has only one volume, Chief, on.
All right, so
like
Chief,
he doesn't have.
You shocked the heck out of me
volume.
the other day, and I think I told you this. And I said, what's different about the game?" I said I miss the fighting. And what did you say to me, Chief?
Well, I don't think there should be any fighting.
You believe this?
Like, I mean, sometimes things happen and players are emotional from a hit, or you just go at it a little bit. But it's okay. But that other stuff, like it's out of the game. It's not.
Yeah, but I miss that. I like seeing fighting.
Well, YouTube a fight, watch it.
Yeah, that's true. They are out there. That goes.
I mean, the game's in a good spot. I don't think you need that other like. I just there's no reason for it. Nobody's intimidated by it.
No, nobody's intimidated anymore. Because back when you played, wasn't it a game of intimidation?
Yeah.
And
Guys
every team had a fighter on it.
Really,
every team or two.
Guys are intimidated of, great players now, like McDavid's and McKinnon's and stuff that but there's some big hits too in a game where there's players that are a little intimidated.
Well, you also alluded to the fact that
I just want to quick jump and say that Joey D did text us, and that
Okay.
was his question.
Oh,
He
how about
said,
that?
"Hey, I don't know if this was brought up earlier or not, but my question for the Chief is: will any team in the NHL go back to physical hockey, trying to show up opponents, or will it keep being teams trying to outskate each other?" And I think that sort of ties into your
Well, I think,
finesse versus
you have teams out there that don't have the skill that a Colorado has or a Tampa has. They're going to try to be more physical and take the body, but even that, like you hit somebody hard, you could get suspended or it could be a penalty.
Well, you were also telling me that you think that those like open ice hits, people are getting suspended and fined for that. You should, if a guy's coming across the middle and has his head down, you said that's his fault.
It is,
right?
100%. It's the player's fault.
And isn't that the job of the defenseman to straighten him up, stand him up, and knock him down?
Yes.
If he's coming across the middle
you
like
gotta
that?
be aware of it, because if it's a head, you hit the head, you're going to get suspended or it's going to be a penalty. That's just a rule because of the concussions in the game. So
609-403-0973 is the text board. If you have a question for the Chief, Craig Berube, send it into the text board, 609-403-0973. Last night in the game, the Tampa Bay Lightning were up 1-0, and the Rangers tied it up. I think it was a power play goal. And then 21 seconds later, Stamkos comes back and Stamkos.
Oh, he butchers names all the time. I call him Billy Malaprop. He doesn't quite, and then he'll mix and match names. It's amazing he hasn't called you like Craig Fisher or something yet, or some other Craig Patrick. Some other Craig.
But the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've got some.
Was your point about the goal though? Because
it went off his leg.
That did go to replay, but I thought it was going to be a good goal immediately because look, that's when the goal.
Chief scored half his goals. It went off his rump and his head, and his elbow and stuff.
You could say ass. It went off his ass.
Skate lace.
Yeah. Here's the thing: Stamkos drove the net, and the goalie Shesterkin or whatever his name is wasn't able to corral it. That's on him for giving up the rebound.
Will the Rangers goalie win the Vezina this year? You think? Because he stood on his head throughout the whole season. I was shocked the Rangers even made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They got a good young team. They got a lot of good young players, and they got some good veterans with Panarin and Zibanejad and Kreider that been around. But the goalie's outstanding.
Yeah, but Igor Shesterkin.
They got a pretty good decor. It's all young kids. They played really well. Gallant's a really good coach. So you talk about a coach like he's a player's coach. The players love him. They want to play for him. He keeps the game simple. So but their goalie's outstanding.
I do have to ask you this, Chief. I thought the difference, so of course, Billy and I are frustrated Flyers fans all our lives. I thought the difference was at one point, the Rangers literally sent out a letter to their season ticket holders saying, hey, trade deadline's coming up. We're going to suck for a while. This is what we're doing. And they basically sort of broke it down to build it back up, and then you see that they were one game away from the Stanley Cup Finals. The Flyers continue to just say, we're only a move or two away, we're just a player or two away. I mean, it's like, I hate to say this and be flippant about it, but the first step toward recovery is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here, so I don't know exactly what all goes on, but, from afar, they just look like they're, not sure which direction they're going, but I don't have a lot of comment on it, to be honest. They got a lot of good players. They got some real good young players, and obviously they've weaned out some of the veterans that have been here with Drew and Voracek. So they're kind of moving on from that stage. But listen, they got some good talent. They got a good young goalie in there. Like I said, but it's hard to know what's really going on until you're here.
Until you're there.
Yeah. But it's just, they got to try to figure it out. They will, I think. It's the Flyers have always been a competitive team in the league, and they'll get there again at some point.
All right, we're gonna do some business right now, but when we get back, the other half of the Berube family is in here.
The boss
of the family,
the better half.
Dominique, Chief's wife, is in here. We're gonna get her on the mic and find out what it's like to live with the Chief.
I can't wait.
All right, the second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to book a wedding and become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. And, of course, when you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us and Ryan Owen. It's a family atmosphere, and it's a great place to play golf. All right, My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep in your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. If you live in Florida, you're away for the winter. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the Locker Room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Craig Berube, and the lovely Dominique, his wife. You're listening to the Locker Room, Billy Schwein, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. Coming up.
million people who use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier? At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Plan your summer vacation now. Spirit Airlines is offering nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, Miami, and other exciting destinations. Book your low-cost flights today by visiting spirit.com.
You nervous?
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, our very special guest, Craig Berube, the head coach of the Stanley Cup.
You're like an episode of Blossom. Our very special guest. Our very, very special guest.
Oh, we got the chief. It's how often do you get the chief in the locker room?
Well, but I mean, you're going to run out of superlatives for the good guest that's here.
Great guest. Now we're gonna see the lighter side of Craig Berube, if there is such a a thing, right?
We hope.
Let's welcome into the locker room Chief's wife.
Now
Dominique.
Point that in her general
Dominique,
direction there.
welcome into the locker room, Dominique.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Dominique, what's it like to live with Craig Berube?
Sometimes he treats home like a locker room, but most of the time he's cooking, playing golf.
Wait a second. Chief cooks
Very well.
What's his?
Hey,
What's?
that's
Wow!
right.
Look at him! Look at his! Look at him! You cook?
Yeah, why not?
You'd be the last person in the world.
What's
I
the
think who could
go-to
cook.
dish? There's got to be a chief dish that, like, oh, okay.
Well, he's really more in charge of breakfast.
Ah, yeah, very good.
I am
That's fine.
shocked.
Hey,
You
man.
cook.
Yeah, why not?
What's his dinner dish?
Mm,
What's the best one?
well,
DoorDash.
He likes to grill, so he's a good steak and burger guy. But breakfast is more his specialty.
I don't know about you, Billy, but like when my mom was sick and my dad would be like, kids, do you want breakfast for dinner? We'd be like, whoa! And my dad was in the Navy.
Yeah.
So,
my
I
dad
mean,
did that,
we
yeah.
had like waffles and eggs and bacon and all the kinds of stuff that's the way he was in the Navy and got breakfast. So,
I guess the kids really like that, right, Dominique?
Yeah. They request his breakfast over mine.
That's funny.
So I told you guys a story in the break. I said, if there was somebody on the Flyers, Dominique, the last person in the world, if you were to tell me 40 years ago, we were all hanging out, who would be the one person that from the Flyers team, all those guys, Talk, Melleby, Proper, Huffman,
Et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know. Who'd be the last person I'd be?
The least likely
would be
for you to
Craig
still be
Berube.
friends
He was
with.
always miserable and barking at people, and yeah, right. Like I thought he hated my guts.
No, that means he loves you.
So with that, did you know about Craig Berube's reputation as a fighter in the NHL before you met him?
No, I was a Devil fan.
What? Well, he used to beat the out of the Devils.
Oh, I think it went both ways.
You didn't really know him as a player, though, did you?
Not at all.
So, but as his reputation, like, were you maybe intimidated that I got to watch out? He might drop the gloves at home.
No,
I'm just kidding. I say that tongue in cheek.
No, not at all. He knows I run the roost at home.
So he knows his role.
What
Yeah,
role?
breakfast.
Right.
Breakfast, then get dressed to go play golf, and then go play golf.
No, things are easy at home. We miss him when he's not around.
Do you have a sort of story of how you first met and then your first dates or any of that?
No, we met through the kids. Our kids were in karate together, and I really had no clue who he was. And I grew up a huge Devil fan because when I first came from Italy, we were early 80s, and we were convinced that the Devils were Italian because they wore red, white, and green.
Okay.
So with my father in the food industry, we got to games and supported them, and didn't really follow the Flyers growing up in Jersey. 6 months after I met him, we're watching Devils versus the Flyers, and they pan the bench, and I'm like, hey, I know that guy. And
this is great.
My son was playing hockey. He just started playing, learned to skate, learned to play, and his son was doing the same, and we just really got to know each other. But the softest part of him is it wasn't until a year after I really knew him through karate. A friend of mine has a friend who plays on a wheelchair hockey league. And we do a fundraiser every year in Philly. And I said, listen, I know this guy about a year. I think he could, come to the fundraiser or participate somehow. And he couldn't because the Flyers were in the playoffs against the Rangers at the time. But he said, I'd really like to meet this kid. What can I do? And he just showed up at the house with us and surprised him with some, gear and pizzas. And that's when we kind of both realized we were in a similar situation. And, just things started turning the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. We know that he doesn't have a huge social media presence, right? You're not gonna find Craig Berube on Facebook. You're not gonna find him on Twitter. You're not gonna find him in any, But also the other thing I would think though is like, girls talk to girls, right? Like, hey, tell me about such and such. There was no inside information literally until the camera panned across the bench, and he said, "Oh my God, that's the guy from karate."
Nothing. And I gotta be honest, he dropped off that stuff. At my store at the time for the kid that we were doing the fundraiser for, and a friend of mine was a huge Flyer fan, and she walked in and she's like, "What the heck is the head coach of the Flyers doing here?" And I was like, "He's just dropping off some
right. It's no big deal.
Gear.
It's no big deal.
Some promotional stuff, for a fundraiser." So yeah, no, he does a lot of charity. He does a lot of things under a radar, that people don't know, but he's a great guy.
Billy?
See, that's the persona. I mean, Chief, you had a reputation on the ice, but I know you on the other side of that, and I do kid around, but I mean, you had an edge to you, but off the ice, people are a lot different. Off the field, or the baseball diamond, or the court.
Yeah, you got to have a switch,
right?
As a player,
right.
I tell players that, like, I get it, you're a nice guy and blah blah blah, but when you get suited up, you got to find something that gets you going. This is your job, do it, so. That's every individual is different and they're motivated differently. And,
hey Dominique, does the Chief bring like wins and losses home?
Oh, not bad.
Sometimes, I mean, it's hard to leave it completely.
Yeah,
I bring it home too.
Does he talk the game with you and everything?
Sure. Yeah, we definitely talk it out a little bit. Like, yeah, he asked me what I see. Not that he takes it that seriously, but he does know that I appreciate the game. I follow the game. I have way before him, and he'll ask me things for sure.
Devils, you said. So, tell me, are we talking like the Gretz called them the Mickey Mouse Devils, or are we talking like the good Devils?
I mean, I started following in 82 when we came, so that was.
We're talking like Chris Terreri or somebody's in goal, or
Terreri,
even pre.
Terreri was definitely in goal. I mean, and I followed them and went to the Cup, and then became a season ticket holder from '95 through 2003. Yeah.
Well, how far away do you live from the rink?
Well, I grew up in Central Jersey near Princeton, and then I lived in Manhattan in northern New Jersey near the old Brendan Byrne at the time.
Yeah,
not too far.
That was a beautiful location.
Hey, it was
Brendan Byrne / Continental Airlines / dump. But
it was easy to get definitely tickets, and watching Brodeur, Stevens.
Oh yeah, it was great transformation.
Niedermeyer, all those guys, they made you fans.
Now, here's $1 million question. Taylor ham or pork roll?
No.
Neither.
Neither.
We don't eat bacon. Straight up bacon. Good. Okay.
Dominique, did you get a chance to drink out of the cup?
Oh, absolutely. A couple times.
He was trying to vocalize his thoughts when he raised that, but what were you thinking at that moment? Obviously pride, emotion, right?
Well, that just came up on my Facebook memories because it's the anniversary today. And I don't know, walking out onto the ice and just feeling the grit, like it felt like you're walking in sand, and it just felt like that's what those guys worked through. Like they just, they just mucked it through and made it. And I don't know, there's so much pride I had for him because he just kept his head down and just kept working, and the team was resilient, and it was an amazing thing. You can't put it really into words. It was really cool.
Chief, I'm wondering, out of all your peers, I mean, you know a lot of guys that you went to war with, and there's a lot of guys that never win the cup. That's got to be pretty private. Pretty.
It's hard. Like
Tampa's
going to win it maybe 3 times in a row here. It's unbelievable,
right?
In today's era. But it's hard to do. It's tough. It's tough.
When you talk or. Like who do you keep in touch with most out of that team? I mean, I know you talk to Talk a lot, right?
Yeah, Talk and Mellenby probably.
Mellenby, Scooter. He's the assistant general manager for the. You talk to Muzz.
Muzz a little bit,
Dave Pullen at all?
Yeah, yeah, Dave Pullen too. Yep.
You got that over him, right? You got a cup under your belt.
Well,
I mean, do you notice people treat you differently? Obviously, since you won the cup.
Do they introduce you as Stanley Cup winning coach Craig Berube?
Well. In St. Louis, like
you can walk a water out there.
The fans are waiting for a cup for so long. They've been a very good team since started, right?
Right.
Like they been a consistent playoff contender for. They've missed it twice, maybe. I don't even know the number. It's crazy how good they've been and consistent. And they had some great teams. They didn't win. Like in the 90s, they had some really good teams. Brett Hall, Al McInnes, Pronger, all those guys were there, and they don't win.
I think Gretzky played there for a few.
Yeah, Gretzky played for a bit too. That's when Mike Keenan was there. He brought in all the ex-Oilers.
Yeah.
Gretzky was one of them. But when you win, and it's 50 years, right? And you finally win. I mean, they're appreciative of it. Every day. Yeah. The fans. It's a great hockey town. It really is. For a small town, small market team, it's a real good spot. It's
and like in Philadelphia, I would imagine Pete, like
they were part of that expansion. I mean, what he's talking about, like 67. Although, and the Blues actually had a lot to do with the Flyers. The Blues really influenced the Flyers
They made him
franchise.
Ed Snyder said we're never going to get beat like that on the ice ever again.
There wouldn't have ever been Broad Street Bullies if the Blues hadn't beat them up first.
Yeah, the Blues were tough back in the day. They had a tough team. Scotty Bowman was coaching them. They had the Gassauce, the Plaguers. Those guys, they were.
Do you see a lot of those guys walking especially during that Stanley Cup run?
Bobby Plager was around a lot till he passed away, unfortunately. But he was a great, like he represented the Blues really well. People loved him, and he was around all the time. Great guy. Great guy to talk to. Great guy to be around, and really represented the Blues very well. He's really missed.
I bet you Chiefs walking on water in St. Louis.
I hope so. Bernie Federico.
You probably don't have to ever
his name up here.
They don't have to ever buy a dinner or a drink in that town ever again, right? Right, Dominic?
You buy. I mean, I should buy. Why wouldn't you buy?
Because you won a Stanley Cup.
That would be Billy.
I don't want to not buy. I want to buy.
Yeah.
Not everybody was looking for free tickets.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, by the way, Pete,
after he had 2 fights.
Hey, Dominic, you know what? So I called Chief. I guess I called him a day before the St. Louis Blues were coming to town. I said we would have a locker room. Take all the people that my crew here. We had a locker. Chief gave us free tickets.
We did go up there.
You gave us a suite.
That was very nice where you put us up for that game. I think the Blues won.
Put us up in a suite.
Well, the Blues would have did that, not me.
Okay.
I mean.
Well, can't you lie to me and say we took care of it?
Well, I probably took care of it somehow. But
it was great. We really appreciate it.
Probably told them.
Wait, before you read that commercial, I'll just throw this in for Dominique and Chief's pleasure. We are in the box, and Billy gets up from his seat. Like we're in the back, they have like tables and stuff at a bar. So it's intermission, and Billy, of course, is Billy, right? He gets up and he starts telling a story. So I had to go excuse myself to use the restroom. I come back from the restroom and I go, Billy. And he goes, what? I go, I'm at the damn urinal and I can hear your story like I'm sitting right across from you.
I was excited.
You're loud, eh?
Yeah.
Why don't you be loud with those commercials?
But real quick, I text you 3 minutes before you were going out on the ice. And
this is your chance.
Your response to that is we were all laughing our rear ends
If
off.
you ever want him to stop texting you before games, this is your chance. Tell him now.
No. Well, let me tell this other story.
Oh, the practical joke? Oh, he got you good.
You got me.
You thought
you
the
probably had the
was
best
over.
practical joke on me that anybody's ever got on me, ever.
And we'll tell that on the other side.
All right. The second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati of the Main Line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati of the Main Line also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati of the Main Line offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 804-4800, or visit them online anytime, motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Craig Berube, 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 90.
Stop for everything you need is the bait and tackle shop at Utch's Marina in historic Cape May. Come to Utch's for a huge selection of spinning and conventional rods and combos for the boat or the surf, with top name brands available like Penn, Tsunami, Ocean Max, Shimano, and more. Utch's Marina, your home away from home at the foot of the bridge in Cape May. Stop by any day or visit CapeMayHarbor.com.
All right, Sunday morning in the locker room, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson.
I played this in honor of Dominique.
our special guest, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, Craig Berube, and his lovely wife, Dominique, are here in the studio, in the locker room.
Not for nothing, by the way, Chief, but this dum-dum, this dope that you're friends with.
What's wrong with you?
He loves the police, not the
They're my
actual
favorite
law
band.
enforcement. So every Sunday, he makes me return with all this music.
What?
So it's not that many.
That's a lot.
The Rolling Stones have 50.
Well, that's the Rolling Stones. And how many Rolling Stones? The Dead, the Stones, and what else?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
I like the Beatles.
All right. Here we go. Chief,
Got an
and Dominic,
unnatural
Chief probably
obsession.
doesn't even know. He probably even realize he did this to me.
Oh,
But
it was
this
great.
started about.
It was great.
This is about 2 years ago.
Oh, I love this
I come
story.
home from wherever I was, whatever I was doing. It was the Blues were out on the West Coast,
Okay.
and I text Chief between the second and third period,
Of a game.
and I didn't expect to hear back. I just fired off something or something.
Okay.
And he got back to me. Oh, no, you know what I texted? I said, Chief, you look like a busboy with your suit or something.
Okay.
like that.
So a little crack.
He had a black, I was, of course, breaking the stones.
Fine.
And he got back with me with a, quick
Typical
thing.
Chief.
And the
response.
fact that he even
Fine.
got back to me was funny.
Yeah.
all right? Now,
Okay.
over the course of the last 2 years, I might have done it maybe 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And not expecting
A response.
a response, but
Right.
when I get one, I laugh my
Your
ear
idea
end
is
off.
you think you're putting a text
Well,
in
I'm
that
proud
he'll
of
see
him.
later.
Yeah, right. I think he's going to see it like after the game.
Okay.
So I was not too long ago. I texted him during the game, and and he didn't get back to me.
All right.
I know it was when you guys were. I came home. It was a Sunday afternoon. You guys were playing the Minnesota Wild.
Okay.
When it was on national television. That's how I came home for this show.
All right.
And
you shoot him a text.
I shot him a text, and I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
About 15 minutes after the game, the phone rings.
Oh.
This is Craig Berube.
Oh, he's calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I go, Chief, what's up? He goes, listen, you little. If you ever text me or call me again during the game, and he was like, you could feel the steam coming out of his ears over the phone. He goes, if you ever call me again, you little beep, 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 I will beep, 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 and I will lose your phone number. And at this point, I'm like
were you
like
stunned?
the Goodfellas when
Yeah.
he goes, what am I here? What am I funny? What am I
Yeah.
here? I didn't know how to take it. I went
Nervous.
So
you're
I got
scared.
silent and then all of a sudden he started laughing. You tightened me up about that tight.
Yeah, you got him good, Chief.
It was like Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci.
Oh, Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
right.
Ray Liotta, man. He
you were
was
like
so
you were
good.
like Goodfellas me.
Yeah. But they're fearing you.
Yeah, that's
Right?
pretty much what I did.
You should be texting me during
Well,
the
you
game.
should be returning my text messages.
I don't normally.
Are there
I
lock?
don't bring my phone on the bench.
Do you don't have your phone on the bench?
No, why would you? Right.
Well, what if you forget? You're human.
I don't make mistakes like that.
That's right. Are there locker room pranks, Chief?
I met
during
Ray
your
Liotta.
during your?
Did you really?
Tell us that story. That's
Yeah, I was
better.
working out and down, and I was in Venice Beach with Talk and Kevin Stevens. We were
No
training
way.
there at
Venice Beach. You guys trained at Venice
at the
Beach.
Gold's Gym there with.
Yeah.
I got to think of the trainer's name. He's still
Don.
I forget his name, but anyway, so I went down there for a few weeks of training with these guys, and you're in there, so we got to know James Conn really well.
Cool.
He was a great guy.
Really?
A lot of fun. And Ray Liotta, these guys were hanging around there, they're working out, but this Ray Liotta acted exactly like he did in Goodfellas.
Wow.
Laughed the same,
Oh man.
looked the same. It was
Really?
it was pretty cool to meet him. Good, he was a nice guy.
And now, was this before or after the movie had come out?
Oh, it was after.
Yeah, after. Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you
That
guys.
movie's old. You know.
It's 1991. So I was at the old whatever the hell the theater was called in Andorra. I paid to my $10 to see the movie. I watched the whole thing. It's the only time in my life that a movie ended, and I went right back out to the lobby. I gave another $10. I went right back in, and I watched the whole thing again. Because for me, people are like Godfather or Goodfellas. Forget about it. It's Goodfellas for me.
Yeah.
I understand Godfather. I get it. He mentioned Jimmy.
No,
Conn
I'm a
ago,
Goodfellas
but
guy.
yeah, how could you not be?
Yeah.
How am I
Hey,
funny?
Chief, do you guys do the players do practical jokes still?
Still?
Because I mean, you guys
Now they're thin-skinned, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like you.
Well, no, that's bull. You guys keep saying that. Listen, I'll never forget. I went to Pittsburgh. Talk was in Pittsburgh. And Scotty McKay and I went to Pittsburgh, and we skated with the team. We were out. We had equipment on, right? Bob Airy stuff on or whatever. And when we came into the thing. They had this big white folded towels, like it was like country club
Locker room towel. Sure, okay.
And it was all white. And so when I was in the shower, see all these guys looking around the corner,
And
and they're
thinking,
laughing
what's
at
going
me.
on? Yeah.
Jimmy Pack, Shel Samuelson. They're laughing at me. I'm like, I know you guys are up to something, but You got to get up all for early in the morning to mess with me.
Right.
You know what they did? They opened up the towel. They put white shaving cream in the towel, right? And they folded it back over. So I was like the last guy out of the shower.
Billy's that
So
guy.
I get out, I'm start drying myself up. I'm trying to, and I didn't even know it. And they're laughing so hard they're crying. They got me good.
Yeah, there was a lot of that stuff back in the.
But not anymore.
No,
not so much.
So much. It's pretty.
Or are you just not privy to that? Because you're.
I might miss a lot of it because I don't really notice it.
How much time do you spend in the locker room with those guys? I mean, you just walk through, talk to them, and that's it.
Like during a game or practice.
Well,
like,
yeah, during like say practice.
Well, practice you're around the room, like
right.
The weight they're working out in the room before practice, and they're walking around. So you're socializing with the guys throughout the day and at practice. But on a game day, I leave the guys alone for the most part.
Do you still take a nap as a coach? I mean, that's not a funny question, is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
I do.
Do you, well, yeah.
Well,
why
I
not?
like
Right?
that.
You're up all night. I mean,
like
what time do you
to
get to
take
bed at night after a game?
Well, it depends, but I like
Because you have to deal with the press, right? You have to do after the
and
press.
then it's just hard to sleep after.
Yeah, you're
a
all
lot of
keyed
times.
up.
Yeah, not as bad as a player, but
So your routine back in the day was you take a nap between like 1 and you have your pregame skate, right?
Yeah.
And then you grab something to eat.
Yeah.
And then you shut her down.
Take a nap.
And then you go to Rick around 4.
Yeah, probably, or a little earlier maybe.
And then you play all day, and then you guys go out and get something to eat. Remember Kaminsky's and
Yeah,
Coastline
these
and
guys
whatnot?
now, you're fed at the rink.
Oh,
You're
really?
Pre-game meal,
Really?
breakfast after the game. They don't.
They don't. Is it like it used to be? Remember you guys? We were all out after the games. Remember we used to go out all the time.
No, not a lot. But on the road, probably them guys get together and hang out.
So the road is where they bond.
Yeah, a little bit more, but they do bond at home too. I think they get together as much as they can. But guys got families and stuff like that.
Yeah,
kids.
but Chief, remember back in the day, you guys used to go to after the game. We used to go to Kaminsky's. We used to go to Coastline.
These guys
He's looking at his face.
These guys are a lot smarter. They take care of themselves.
Okay. Yeah, they eat better.
Yeah.
I mean, players smoked back in the day. I think
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux smoked. I think Mark House smoked.
Mark LaFarge.
There was people
Trees.
that,
I roomed with Al Iafredi in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't know him that well, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a player, like skate like the wind. And so we get in a room, and right away he
fires up a heater.
Lights one up. And I mean one after another.
Like chain smoker?
Chain smoker. And the bed. Laying in the bed.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
this is great.
You want to go get something to eat and stuff like that? Nah. And I mean, this went on. I roomed with him for a few years or a couple of years. And
Did the smoke bother you?
What was he going to say? He was the junior
And then-
member of the pairing.
And then, but he's smoking between periods too. So I watch him. He goes out to the stick room area, where the torches and stuff are. And he breaks he takes off the filter all the time, and he lights it up with a torch. And
What a visual that is! Oh, that's great.
Then he gets and he's flying around the ice 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, this is unreal.
Yeah,
You never see that today, though, right?
No.
Never.
No.
Dude, you guys I know when I was at the Penguins, they had the way their room was set up, the locker room. They had like a couch. It was like an L-shaped couch, and they had a big TV, and they had 2 big refrigerators full of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got.
You guys have beer in your facility, in your practice facility?
No.
No more.
No.
Isn't that something?
Billy, it's 2022.
All right, well,
it's not 1982.
Yeah,
about that?
All that
Yeah.
But I got a top-loading VCR for you if you want to go back in the Wayback Machine.
These
Wow.
guys are, they're. It's all about hockey. Like,
Do you guys have nutritionists, I guess, too, in the team, right? Tell you guys how to eat.
Our strength coach is our nutritionist. He does all that stuff. He organizes all the food. Obviously does all the training with the guys on a daily basis, and organizes all the food on the road, at home, everywhere. So he does all the ordering and everything.
All right, Chief.
It's all healthy stuff.
We got
about
and me.
yeah. All right, we got about 4 minutes in this segment. Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup and why?
That's a tough. I can't determine who's going to win it.
No?
I think.
Well, you have
Tampa knows how to win. They got the goalie, and they got the decor. Like they know how to win. They know how to play hard in situations. They know how to win 2-1, and you have to do that. And Colorado is a hungry team. They've been built to win for the last few years, and they're there now. I would I worry about their goalie a little bit. I don't either one who's in there. I'm not sure who they'll start.
I mean, they both have skilled players, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
they're really highly skilled.
I'd say that Colorado's more skilled than Tampa. A little more firepower, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's a long layoff for Colorado.
Yeah,
long layoff, so they might be a little rusty, but playing in Colorado's an advantage, and they're there for the first 2 games
because of the altitude.
Really affects them a little bit, and just they got a good they got a nice situation there with their crowd and everything. It's a tough place to go play.
All right.
There's one text from Dan. He did want to ask you, Chief, who will the next Philly team be that's going to win a championship? And please don't say the Philadelphia Stars. The USFL team's back.
Well, the Sixers are close, right? I think if their star never got hurt this year, they're right there. I don't really follow a lot of basketball, but I know they're a good team. I mean, the Phillies are playing well right now. They have a good team.
Yeah.
They have good players. The Eagles, I mean, they had a good year last year. I'm not sure they're ready to win yet. I don't know.
You're not in love with the quarterback, are you?
Well, it's a throwing. I think in the end, a lot of the quarterbacks that can, use their feet to, make things happen. They're good players and they're talented guys. But in the end, if you look at the teams that win Super Bowls, you need to make a play with your arm. That's the bottom line. So, in the end, you got to make a play. I don't know what, when, and where, but at some point you got to make a play with the arm.
Well, I mean, if you listen to all the recounts for coming out of the OTAs that he was doing, I know, I'm just saying, doing all the right things. All right,
we'll see. And they gave him AJ Brown. I mean, this is put up or shut up time for Jalen Hurts right now, Chief. I mean, they had Devontae Smith, they had a high pick there. They gave him Jalen Brown, that's a high pick there, or AJ Brown, excuse me. They traded for him to get him from Tennessee, and then the defense is improved. So I mean, everything around
the
him.
coach is offensive coordinator. He knows offense, so he's done a great job with Indy for years under Frank Reich. So I mean, he knows what he's doing. So I mean, they had a good year last year. He improved the team, and they got in the playoffs, and so we'll see.
All right, the second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. For more information on how to book a wedding or become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call, 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. Were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we will wrap it up. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Craig Berube right here in the Locker Room on 97.3 ESPN.
This week on Sunday Night Baseball.
Right field, and you could
hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Doug Fisher, New Jersey Secretary of Agriculture here, reminding you that Jersey Fresh zucchini and yellow squash are ready to stir fry or grill. Pick some up today. Love Jersey? Be sure to ask, is it local Jersey Fresh?
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. We got a few minutes left, Chief, man.
No, we got another hour.
Yeah, I wish.
No, I wanted to see his face.
His eyebrows would shoot to the moon.
The hell we do, kid.
Chief, man, it was great having you in here, man. I really
it was
appreciate
fun.
it.
I enjoyed coming on here and talking to you
Yeah.
guys and talking sports and a little bit of everything. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, Chief, people don't get to hear that often, a head coach from a professional sports team, hockey team, like the inside stuff of what goes on. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in the locker room, and fans, want success and they want to win and they want, their sports teams to do well. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on on the inside.
It's hard to win, right, Chief?
It's hard to win, and I'm lucky to be with the Blues because, like I said, they've been consistently a contender for a long time. And it's all leadership that starts at the top of that organization. And we got a great GM that does a great job. And he always puts on a product on the ice that you can be successful with.
All right, Craig Berube, Dominic, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you, I guess, later on in the summer. I want to thank Tommy Greene for On the Mound with Tommy Greene. Pete Thompson, as always, had a great time today. We're going to go to the LPGA, Chief.
Yeah, I'll give you my address to send the check.
I already gave you a present. We're going to head out to the LPGA. Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson and I are going to head over there. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with a Schweiner. I'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great weekend.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio